Hi everyone, I'm Jaxon with Blue Moon Mobile RV and I'm a certified technician. Today I'm going to be talking about power management. The concept of power management is pretty straightforward. It's just understanding the limitations of your breaker panel in your RV. Most are a 30 or a 50 amp. So once we understand what our maximum is, we can work backwards from there. Understanding the limitations of our breaker panel is super important. That way we can avoid causing any damage to our equipment or our hardware in the RV. We could potentially end up with melted cords, blown fuses, trip breakers, and sort of spoil our weekend away. Once we understand our breaker panel maximums, we need to understand what loads they can carry and what sort of conditions are going to change those loads. So air conditioners being the main consistent load on our breaker panels, your average 15K air conditioner is going to pull 8 to 12 amps on a mild day, and then as we get hotter into the 100-degree temperatures, those numbers are going to bump up to 15 amps per air conditioner. So we need to understand as well how many air conditioners we have on our roof and what other loads are being put on the unit. Microwaves are also one of the heavier loads that we're going to put on the system. They'll take 8 to 12 amps. A few other ones are electric hot water systems, which are going to be 8 to 12. And then we have refrigerators also, which can pull 5 to 8 amps at any one time. So with these numbers in mind, it's always good to keep a mental tally, that number in the back of your head, just so that you're not tripping breakers or causing any issues. A good way to keep on top of your power management on a hot day, if you need to, shut down one AC while you're running something else. If you've got 2 air conditioners running on a hot day and then you decide to run your microwave or plug in a hairdryer or something like that, something that's going to pull, exceed that load from your board, that's when you're going to run into issues. You'll start tripping breakers or causing damage to your hardware. So we can see here in front of me, I have a few adapters or connectors, whatever you would like to call them. But here a lot of the time is where the damage will show itself. These heads can melt quite easily. They're sort of a self-perpetuating issue. The heat causes carbon to build up. The carbon creates more resistance, which creates more heat, and just continues to build and build until we ended up with seriously damaged equipment that could potentially cause a fire or, again, just trip breakers and be a nightmare while you're on a trip. So here we see the hot and the neutral line. Both of these have been getting too hot, obviously, and they've melted and scored the tabs, which this should be replaced, or it can just continue to get worse and cause more damage. Some of the new models of RV are going to have their own built-in energy management system, and they'll shed items which are pulling too much once it sees that limit is, that your load is building up to that limit. We always want to stay just below our maximum, so if you have a 30 or a 50, you always want to stay 3 to 5 amps below that maximum at any one time. Not all new units have these load shed systems, so it's always a good idea to keep that tally running in the back of your head. Understanding the issues that can arise through mismanagement of power, it's always a good idea to keep that in mind. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to call Blue Moon and we can help you out.